Okay, this video is going to be a link to a great video. The YouTube channel is actually called Veritasium. The name of the video is How One Company Secretly Poisoned the Planet. One of the viewers sent me this and they made a great call. This is a magnificent video. It's going to explain the deal on PFAS. PFAS is poly or perfluoroalkyl chemicals. Okay, it's polyfluoro, like polyfluorinated, lots of fluorides on there. It's alkyl with the carbon group here, and it's really the baseline. It's essentially a fatty acid. You have a chain of carbons attached to a carboxylic acid, a ketone group, carbonyl group, and a hydroxyl group. Okay, what's the unique thing about it is instead of having hydrogens like a normal fatty acid, you've got fluorines. Fluorines have a higher electronegativity, a stronger desire to grab electrons. They bind very, 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 very tightly to the carbons, and that's why this stuff can be used for no slip, for like non-stick cookware, okay, and for other things that you want to be water resistant, for example. But you remember your skin's largely made out of lipid. That's why you can swim in the water, because in biochemistry, like dissolves like. So your skin's mostly lipid, so you don't get waterlogged when you swim in the water. But if you put fat creams on yourself, like estrogen, testosterone, and potentially this stuff even, it can be transdermally absorbed in part, which is a worrisome issue, okay? Because it's in a lot of things. They put it in a lot of types of clothing. So this stuff is much more common than people realize. You'll mostly hear it described as PFAS. You sometimes hear it as PFOA, polyfluorooctanoic acid is a common version of it. Like this right here, C8 is the same thing as POFA or PFOA. All right, well anyways, these are toxic, and you'll make them like Teflon. Nonstick cookware has this stuff, and if you heat it over 350 degrees, I'll show you another slide to that effect. Okay, well first of all, here's some of the things it can do. It can be in the packaging for like frozen pizzas, fast food pizzas, the little wrapper, the wax paper, they'll sometimes put this on there to make it more slippery. They even sometimes put it in dental floss. I used to use a dental floss and somebody goes, I think that has PFAS in it. And I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. Then I looked it up and it did, so I stopped using it, okay? If the mother's eating fish, it gets into all the water of the ocean and the seas. So if she's eating fish, she's going to get it in herself and she's going to give it to the baby. It's in tap water, so if you want to, municipal tap water, they don't do much to purify that water. They mostly want to just prevent infections. They throw a bunch of fluoride and chlorine in there and aluminum. But if you want to, get the PFAS out of there, you need to use at least a carbon filter, or you can use a reverse osmosis filter, ion exchange filter. So that's a big source of it in the drinking water. Firefighters get it. It's in the fire retardants they put on their clothing. Industry makes a lot of it. DuPont, the company, used it to make their nonstick cookware, to make that Scotch Guard stuff. It's in some paints. So it's a ubiquitous in the environment. It's literally all over the planet. You'll find it in a polar bear if you sample a polar bear. Okay, this is just showing example. If you cook it too high of a temperature, and not that high, over 350 degrees, you will you get it up to go in the air. And people who have had like a bird in a cage right next to their kitchen, the bird will die when you cook from this stuff. Okay, it's really toxic for people. When they pour this into the water in concentrated amounts, like next to the factories, the cattle that would drink from that river, they would all die. Okay, so it's pretty toxic stuff. Just one more thing to be aware of, and I think the most important thing to come out of this is it's another motivator to have a water filter and to never use nonstick cookware. So I'll have the link in the description below. I hope you find it helpful.